Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down one of the first commands we ever teach our dogs, sit. But we're going way beyond the basics to look at the science of what's really happening and how this one simple word can completely change your relationship with your dog. So, let's just start with a question that might kind of flip how you see your dog. What if teaching sit isn't really about obedience? What if it's not about getting your dog to do what you say? What if it's about something way, way deeper? Because what if it's really about teaching the very first word and a shared language? Think about it as the beginning of a genuine two-way conversation between you and your dog. All right, here's what we're going to cover in this explainer. We'll kick things off with why sit is so important in the first place. Then we'll get into the science of how your dog's brain actually works. From there, we'll look at two great ways to teach it, how to make the command stick, and finally, how to get it to work out in the real world.
So first up, why all the fuss about sit? Well, because it's not just some cute little trick. It's the absolute bedrock for pretty much everything else, for safety, for clear communication, and for building a really solid, positive bond with your dog.
Okay, so experts have this awesome term for it, cusp behavior. And that just means it's a skill that once your dog gets it, opens up the door to a whole world of other good things. A solid sit helps a dog manage their own excitement, instead of jumping all over people. It becomes their way of saying please. And maybe most importantly, it teaches them how to learn with you. Now, to really train this effectively, we got to look under the hood at what's happening in our dog's brain. I want you to think of it like there are two engines, and they are always running during any training session. Engine number one is operant conditioning. This is basically learning by doing. The dog makes a choice, a voluntary action, like putting its butt on the floor, and it learns that this action leads to a consequence. If that consequence is awesome, like a yummy treat, they're way more likely to do it again. Simple as that. And running at the exact same time, you've got engine number two, classical conditioning. This one's all about feelings and associations. A totally neutral thing, like the sound of your voice saying sit, gets paired with that awesome treat from engine one. And pretty soon, the word itself starts to create a happy feeling. So here's the absolute key, right? While operant conditioning is teaching your dog what to do, the physical action, classical conditioning is shaping how your dog feels about the training, about the word sit, and about you. The two are totally connected. And this is why positive reinforcement is such a game changer. When we add something the dog loves, like a treat, right after they sit, we're not just making the action stronger, we're also building this wonderful, happy emotion around it. We're getting both of those engines firing in the same positive direction, creating a dog that doesn't just know what to do, but actually wants to do it. Okay, so we know the science. Now, how do we actually do it? Let's get into the trainer's toolkit and look at two really powerful, hands-off ways to teach a perfect sit. First up is a technique called luring. You've probably seen this one before or even done it naturally. It's a really quick and intuitive way to get the behavior started by using a treat like a magnet to guide your dog's nose, which in turn guides their body. The mechanics are super simple, but you gotta be precise. You take a treat, put it right on your dog's nose. Then you lift your hand up and back over their head. Their nose will follow the treat, their head goes up, and physics takes over. Their butt naturally goes down. The second it touches the floor, you mark that moment with a big, happy yes, and then they get the treat. That yes is crucial. It's like a camera shutter, telling them that's the exact thing that earned the reward. All right, our second tool is called capturing. Now, this one's a little different. It's much more hands-off. Instead of guiding your dog, you're more like a photographer, just waiting for them to offer a sit all on their own. Then, you capture it. Your timing here is everything. You just hang out in a quiet space, be patient, and the moment your dog decides to sit down on its own, you mark it with yes, and then toss a treat a few feet away. And that little treat toss, that's the secret sauce. It gets the dog up to go get the treat, which resets them to have another chance to offer you a sit. This is a fantastic way to get your dog's brain in the game. So when you look at them side by side, you can see how you'd choose one over the other. Luring is your speed demon. It's fast. It works for almost any dog. Capturing is a bit slower to start, but man, it's a powerhouse for building confidence, especially in dogs that are a little shy or nervous. There's no right or wrong here, just the right tool for your dog. Getting the first sit, honestly, that's the easy part. The real training, the art of it, comes next. It's about turning that action into a reliable behavior that happens when you say the word without needing a treat waved in front of their nose every single time. This quote right here, this is everything. You have to know the difference between a reward and a bribe. A reward happens after the sit. A bribe is when you show them the food before to get them to do it. If your dog only listens when they see the cookie first, you've got a bribe problem.
So how do we fix it? We fade the lure. It's a step-by-step process. First, you lure with the treat in your hand. Then, and this is the most important step, you do the exact same motion with an empty hand, and the treat comes from your other hand or your pocket after they sit. Then you start making that hand signal smaller and smaller until finally you say the word sit first, and only then use a tiny hand signal if they need a hint.
Look, a sit in your quiet living room is one thing, but what about on a busy street with cars going by, or at the park when another dog is walking past? The end goal is a sit that works everywhere, and the process for getting there is called proofing.
Proofing is all about three things, which I call the 3Ds: duration, distance, and distraction. How long can they hold it? How far away from them can you be? And what kind of chaos can be happening around them? Now here is the golden rule, you guys. Only work on one of these at a time. Don't ask for a long sit from far away with a squirrel running by. That's just not fair.
What you're doing step by step is teaching your dog this really important idea that the word sit means the same thing in the kitchen as it does in the backyard or at the pet store. You're building a truly bulletproof understanding of the cue. And when you get there, sit is no longer just a command. It becomes this incredible tool. It's a safety behavior, like asking for a sit at a curb before you cross the street. It's a polite way for your dog to ask for things. It really becomes a foundation of your entire partnership. Which really brings us to the final question for you. Training isn't just about control. It's not about being the boss. It's about opening a line of communication. It's about connection. So the real question is, what conversation are you going to start with your dog today?